Hello, my name is Marlene Weisenbeck. I'm a Franciscan sister of Perpetual Adoration and the convener of the La Crosse Task Force to End Modern Slavery. As the second largest criminal activity in the world, we encounter human trafficking wherever we are, globally and locally. As you view these stories, I ask you to gaze upon the person. Consider the burden that she or he is carrying. Contemplate each situation, and then imitate others who are helping to move them out toward healing and wholeness. Gaze. Rest your eyes on what you see and hear. Experience this visual evidence of persons who are captured and terrorized through the strategies that brought them into the life of modern slavery. Though your eyes and thoughts may be drawn elsewhere, bring them back to the person that is the focus of each story. Consider. Allow your mind to study and understand the horrific situations that brought these individuals into their captivity. Consider the humiliation to which victims are submitted. Deepen your knowledge of the events that made them vulnerable to recruitment into this life. Do you sense a challenge or a call? Contemplate. Be present to what you see and hear. Listen with your inner senses to the meaning of the story. Listen to the cries of the enslaved without judgment. Then embrace an unceasing prayer for all those involved and all those who work to bring freedom to those in this underground economy of evil. Finally, imitate. All prayer moves us toward making efforts to create relationships of wholeness worthy of our God-given human dignity. Join in some way with others in bringing hope and freedom to the suffering world. Thank you.
My childhood, if you want to look in the way of getting involved in prostitution, stereotyping how women should be for a person or a man like me. I learned a lot from my own home that men need to be aggressive.
From where you grew up?
Yes.
From your dad?
Yes. Women should listen, be told what to do, and if that not was respected, then maybe forced to do what was told. Yeah.
Okay. So your father laid out the ground rules for your mother.
Yes.
Did you, well, I know you have a brother. Do you have other siblings?
Yes, I have two other sisters.
Were they living in your home as you were growing up?
Yes, one of my sisters, yes.
Okay, so they saw this whole dynamic as well.
Yes.
So your father was very strict and he expected certain things, behavior of your mother.
And he had multiple relationships with other women that I grew up witnessing. So I can remember a lot of in other women's home outside of my mother. So that was something that I had learned early, that you should have multiple women outside of just one woman.
And what was the woman's role? What was your perception? What was her role? How did your dad depict that?
Well, kind of for me, a woman needs to be submissive, not in God's way, but in man's way.
In flesh way?
Yes. Do what you're told, listen when I'm speaking, and you have no say-so.
Were there other When you grew up, were there other people involved in prostitution when you grew up? Was it normal?
Very. In the Rondo neighborhood, University Avenue was one of the biggest areas where prostitution was, I want to say, when I was younger, a way of life. So that was some of the things that I had seen growing up. I, later on in life, growing up, where prostitution was something that you seen on a regular basis. So it wasn't like I couldn't go too far down the street, around the corner in my community, that it was not seen. It was a regular thing every day that I seen women, men involved in prostitution.
How old were you, do you think, if you can think back, about how old were you when you decided, hey, you know, this could be lucrative, I could have this work for me? What were the dynamics around that? How old were you? Was there an event that maybe was a catalyst to get you into pimping, or how did that work?
I would say I was about 16
Okay.
years old. I really got involved in drugs. So a part of that lifestyle kind of tied into me getting involved in pimping. I was, what do you want to say, a student to the game. Some older gentlemen that I knew, I hung out with, and some ladies in my community that I knew of. They glamorized it. It didn't seem like it was a bad thing to be involved in. I've never really seen any hurt or harm coming to anybody. And when I did see some violence behind it, it was okay because that was a part of what goes on.
Keeping people in line.
Yes. And I've seen even women talk about it where they felt that it was okay of what was happening to them. So I had a misconception, and I thought, you know, this is a good, lucrative business, you want to say, and it looked very welcoming to get involved in because this is what was going on in my community.
It was normalized.
It was normalized. I don't want to say girlfriend. I want to say people that were doing drugs.
Okay.
It was a way of not only I'm able to get high, but for that woman or young lady at the time, ways for her to get high. So it kind of like went hand in hand. In some regard, it did turn out like we were together.
Right.
But I was manipulating, using ways and means to use her body, her little intellect, or just the game. I want to say that this is what we do. So I kind of use that to say, you're mine. I have security. I have some muscle. And this is what we do.
So how big was your stable or operation?
I want to say I possibly had 8 women at a time.
Okay.
And as I continue to get older and being out in that whole lifestyle, that your name starts going around, your face starts going around, and I don't want to be cocky or conceited, even though I carried that, but I'm a pretty good looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And with the looks,
Right.
women felt that was another security for them, that I could bring in others who look good, that they didn't have to feel that brought in more people, based on women were attracted not only to my, I want to say pizzazz, but my looks.
Absolutely.
So that attraction through other women that I were having were sharing that, and other women were attracted to that.
Yeah. So besides the fact that people were using drugs and there's this power and control technique that a pimp has to use, but you didn't have to use as much of that because you are a very good-looking man, and girls would want to be with you. So, did you have a bottom?
Yes, I did, and drugs took me to that bottom.
I mean, a bottom bitch.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Most definitely, most
Okay.
definitely, and that I would say is where the most persuasion I could use was from the bottom bitch,
absolutely.
and she was very persuasive, and there were more than one, and that all was the way that I was able to keep women with force, because these women were also utilizing that on each other.
Right.
So I would give direction, sometimes a beat down to the bottom, that she would send it on through the other girls, and that fear itself within itself, that it was the persuasion
Right.
to keep them trapped, cornered.
To keep them cornered and to keep them in competition.
Yes.
So each one of them wanted to bring home the money for you.
Yes.
They wanted it for you. They wanted a relationship with you. It wasn't just about the life and the drugs. They wanted to get closer to you.
Yes.
So they pitted against each other to try to get with you.
Yes.
Okay. What, was there ever a shortage of people to buy the women? Would,
Never.
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 Wow.
Never.
Never a shortage.
Never.
Can you describe for us what the buyers, who are these buyers? Where'd they come from?
Well, a lot of them, if not most of them, came not from the community. They were from the outskirts. They was from the suburbs. They was from rural areas. They was from downtown. They were from the business community. People that had money to spend. They didn't look like me. They looked
Okay.
like you.
Right. So they were white men.
Yes, white men, middle, older age. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And were you posting these on Backpage, or how were you, or did you not even need to do that? Or did you just put your women on the stroll? Just mostly put them on the stroll?
Well, there's many layers to how I was involved, as far as how I ran my game when it came to pimping. The street, of course, was first, but as I want to say time, and the more involved in that lifestyle, it changed.
With social media?
Social media, Backpage, newspaper, call service.
That lava link or whatever that line is that they call?
Houses, dating services. So it was a multiple of things that, but the main source was the streets.
Streets.
The corner.
Quick and easy.
Yes. What I had to understand for myself, and reason why I want to mention doing this video, is that what I learned about myself, that I didn't feel good about myself. What I want people to know, men that are involved in this, is that, do you have a daughter? Do you have a mother? And if you love your mother, you love your daughter, then I had to look at the women I was affecting, that was somebody's daughter. That was somebody's mother. And I'll say it, I'm a mama's boy. So I always had this felt feeling that this wasn't right. But as you had asked me in the beginning, what I seen in the house of growing up, that it was about not respecting women. So I want to say that people who are involved in this lifestyle that women don't have a choice, that are mainly involved in this. Drugs, broken homes, people forcing, taking, trafficking women, that they do have a soul. And that I looked at, what is my penalty? That I'm hurting another child's mother or potential mother. That it wasn't right. It wasn't cool. It wasn't hip. And I'm still repenting for some of the things that I had done while I was involved in the lifestyle. First, I want to say that I don't believe it can't be solved. I believe it is being solved. Organizations such as yourself, Breaking Free. On a larger scale, I think it becomes more difficult to stop when we have drugs involved. I think that is the core problem today, why prostitution continues. And then we still have a demand of men who think like how I thought, that women are to be used and abused to their liking. I think if we can continue to have education programs, those who's behind this opportunity that we're doing today, that we can get this education out and men can take a core look at themselves, then I think we begin to solve some of the problem when they need to address their issues and not overlook that it's women issue. This is a us issue, and that's where I believe that we can stop the demand of prostitution. Well, first, that I need to be honest about who I used to be with myself first. Then I became comfortable that I want to say, I want people to know about me is that I'm a loving and caring person. And that today, that I care about any and everybody. And I know what it is to feel not to be loved when you want to be loved. That sometimes we will find ourselves doing things, looking for love. That I know about me today is that I'm a loving and caring person, so I don't want to hurt another human being. You know, and helping my community is who I am. And that's why I chose to be here today. Is because not only loving myself, but I love you too. I love your organization. And I think men more like me, they get caught doing the things that we did to women, that we are the best chance to help stop what is happening to somebody's mother, somebody's daughter, somebody's child. And that's what I want people to know about me.